witches, and it's 18% claiming they were innocent victims. To get involved, just text us, haunted space yes if you think they were genuine, haunted space no if they weren't. The number 83088. Now, I want to remind you of the competition because the lines close on this at 11 o'clock. So very important we get this in, and we want you to get involved. It's a lovely prize, this. An opportunity to spend 2 nights. This is the prize. Great. 2 nights at the Witchery in Edinburgh. Recently described in a magazine as the world's most wonderful place to stay. It's marvellous, believe me, and one of Edinburgh's hidden treasures. To win that prize, this is what you do. We talk about EVPs on the show all the time, but what does the V stand for? Is it A, vapour, B, vacuum, or C, voice? If you know the answer, get on that phone straight away, 09015 339910, or if you're a Sky viewer, get to that red button straight away and press your red button. All those calls will cost £1, and good luck, and we'll announce the winners a bit later on. David, back to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Julian. Well, already tonight we seem to have seen numerous possessions, travelling angry spirits. We appear to have met the Pendle witches, but what will happen next? You can't afford to go anywhere. Well, welcome back to Most Haunted Live here on this Halloween night. Now, breaking news, I'm delighted to say that our paranormal psychologist has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Smith! Now, the reason that Matthew was delayed was because of the enormous amount of traffic around this area, because of all the revellers that are now on Pendle Hill, because, of course, Halloween is when they all gather. But we're delighted that you're here. Now, Matthew, tonight you have missed a lot. He's missed an awful lot, hasn't he? Yeah. Okay, let's just recap. Basically, Derek appears to have been possessed a number of times. We've encountered the spirits, which seem to be the Pendle witches. Apart from that, you've missed very little. But let's have a look at exactly what you've missed.
Come forward. Derek, come forward. Derek, come forward. Derek, come forward. Derek, come forward. Get him out, let's get him out.
Please make your presence known. Please make this glass move as a sign of yes that you are...
My name is Selma.
Too soon.
You're right.
You're right. It's okay.
Take that off me neck.
Take it
off me neck.
It's all right. Take it off. Derek,
Take it off my neck, you. Take it off.
I'm sorry to put you in the hot seat. What do you make of that? You've seen it for the first time.
That's the first time I've seen it, but it's not the first time, of course, I've seen Derek getting possessed. One might even say it's happening more and more often. So it doesn't surprise me. I've said it before that it's difficult to really ascertain whether or not Derek really is getting possessed, or is he simply play acting? But okay, I've just come in, I've just seen it. Looks quite impressive. Usually saves it to the last night.
I think
so I'm quite surprised
that elicited a response from the audience. What was that response when you said he was play acting? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Let's just go back to...
I expect nothing less.
Lower Wellhead Farm, he came up with these names. Elizabeth Device, Whittle, Elizabeth Southern, which turns out is Demdike, one of the Pendle witches. In Bullhole Farm, he came up with Alison Device, and the idea that the spirits were travelling with them wherever they went tonight. I have to say, Yvette's very freaked out tonight, and so is Derek. And what is really weird is that David Wells went to the locations earlier today, and you experienced similar things.
Almost exactly the same things.
So what would you say to Matthew?
In terms of experiencing the same things, what do you mean? What did you experience there?
Well, I experienced the same. I found the same amount of women. I was personally set upon by the grandmother, who turned out to be Elizabeth. I didn't get her name. However, the description is exactly the same. I knew that they were travelling with me throughout the 3 locations. The same door moved for us when we were there. All sorts of things.
I think it is good. That's why I like the fact that David's involved in investigation as well as Derek, and I think it's an important aspect of these kinds of investigations to, if you're going to involve mediums at all, to involve more than one, and ideally independently, if there's no chance of these people in any way kind of
did you
liaising
talk
or
to Derek?
talking about it?
No, I haven't spoken to Derek or anyone, in fact, at all about what I experienced.
Well, if that is the case, then that's
No, that is
a
the case.
Well, if that is the case, then that's a useful part of the investigation because, again, you can corroborate statements from different mediums. The fact that, again, Derek's come up with names, I know it sounds like a broken record, but some of these names, if not all the names, are available. So if Derek chooses, he could get the information beforehand. That's not to say that's what he does. It just means it's very difficult to separate what he could be doing from the fact he could just be getting information.
Well, ask David. David, do you thumb through history books and pick names at random?
No, I don't.
Then often, as David's often said, he often doesn't, get the kind of precise names, exactly what we're looking for in the precise location. And the point that Richard's made before, Richard Felix, is the fact that, well, of course, Derek's in a difficult position, that if he gets the names, we say, OK, he's read about it beforehand. If he doesn't get names or gets names we can't verify, then we say, OK, he can't win. And I do feel Derek's in a difficult position for that. But it doesn't convince me that what he's come up with is necessarily paranormal information.
OK, what about you, Richard Felix?
I was just going to come up with this business of Elizabeth Southern, because if Derek's looking at guidebooks and history books and that sort of thing, he is going to pick up the fact that this woman was called Demdike. Everybody knows them as Chattox and Demdike. Not many people know that her actual name is Elizabeth Southern. And when Yvette was talking about Demdike and asking about it, something seemed to happen, and Derek seemed to go off on one, and we heard her shout, or him shout, her shout possibly, my name is Elizabeth Southern, which I find very impressive, because, as I say, anybody can read it, oh yeah, Demdike and Chattox, end of story, and that's what most people refer to them as. For him to actually come up, doesn't happen very often, with both names like that, and the fact that the other name was nothing but her nickname, which is what's in the history books. And I do find that good. I am impressed, I must be honest with you. That was a good one.
OK, Matthew?
I think on the face of it, again, suggesting that you wouldn't necessarily expect him to come up with the obvious stuff. In fact, if he comes up with a name...
But he often does come up with the obvious
exactly.
stuff.
But then again, just because you've done the research or not done the research doesn't necessarily mean you come up with the right names or the very precise names. No. But the simple point is, if the information is available, you can't always rule that out as a possibility, and that's what makes it very difficult to assess what he appears to be doing.
OK, well, let me just ask you, Richard Jones. I just want to move this on slightly. We were talking about whether witches were malevolent, and you had a point that you made to me in the break.
Yeah, the point I was making was some families who were renowned as local witches, and don't forget this was a very poverty-stricken area, very isolated, hemmed-in area in those days, and some families who had the reputation for witchcraft deliberately dwelt on that reputation. They'd use it, they'd go out begging, and they'd say, you give us food, or we'll turn your milk, we'll kill your cows. And certainly these families, it does seem they'd be today the sort of family that if they were active today, we'd take out an antisocial behaviour against them. They weren't completely innocent of being nuisances in the district. I personally do believe they were certainly innocent of any charge of witchcraft.
I have to say, well, I know there are differences of opinion, but I have to say what we've seen tonight is certainly impressive. I mean, it's been amazing to watch, but let's see what happens for the rest of tonight.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. What do you want? OK, well, now what I want to talk you through now is the sealed room experiment. Now, you may remember last night we put Kieran O'Keefe in a room in the Trinity Centre, and then we sealed that room. We had a number of recording devices, OK? And then earlier on today, Kieran went back and had a look to see what had happened. And we appear to have captured something that happened in that sealed room. OK, let's first of all have a look at a picture of Kieran, which was taken, there we are, that's taken just as he left the sealed room last night. Now, if you look over his left shoulder as you're looking, at the back on the mats, on the mat there is a ball. OK, the ball is on the blue mats at the back. When he went in today, he took a Polaroid photograph. And when we look at that Polaroid photograph, the ball has moved off the mats and is now on the floor. Let's have a look again. The ball on the mat over his left shoulder. And there we are. That is the